Farming Simulator 22 has brought us a ton of new mods to play with, including some of the most game-changing and unique mods for all platforms that we've ever seen. So, I wanted to share my favorite crossplay mods that were released for FS22 so that you might find a mod that maybe you didn't know about, or maybe one of my favorites is one of your favorites too. First up, let's talk about a couple packs, and the first mod on the list today is Seeding Options. This is a mod that will add a extra seed tank in place of where the fertilizer was on things like seeders and planters. One of the other nice things is it does it for all of the base game pieces of equipment that need it, and it adds direct drill capability. So, for example, in the new farmer mode, when you start with this guy, well, it makes it to where it's a direct drill, so you don't need to cultivate, so you can just swap that one out for this. But it does it for all of them. There are a few things that are missing, however, because, well, they already only hold seed, and they are already direct drills. So you're not going to see those. But things like the Kavernlin right here, which is a personal favorite of mine, or even the one that I've used more than any seeder in Farming Simulator history, just about this guy right here, the Solitaire 12, well, that'll do it too. I love this mod. Next up, we have the Kubota Equipment Pack. This was released sometime after the Kubota DLC, and it took a lot of the base game pieces of equipment as far as sprayers, seeders, spreaders, balers, for example, things like that, and put the Kubota logo on them. Not only that, but we had a new and old logo where you could just take the logos off, and all of them had different colors, all kinds of colors. Here we have the Kavernlin Vicon rear mower, which will kick everything into its middle. Well, now it's a Kubota color, and you can add Kubota stuff, and they also decrease the amount of power required for this, so you didn't have to use, like, I don't know, something else. You could use an M8 with both of these mowers, and they worked. One of the neat things was I was part of the pre-testing for this and the showcase. I was able to show them off and share them with you guys. This was a lot of fun, especially for people who had that Kubota DLC. You could use every single piece of equipment in this pack with one of the pieces of equipment from the Kubota DLC. It was awesome. Another really cool pack of mods is the mobile utilities. These are from Yoast, and they've got some really neat stuff. So there's a mobile bell station, mobile buying station, selling station, wood sell point, and a wood warehouse. Now, I will be honest, there are a few of these that I do not use, mainly the mobile buying station and selling station. However, this guy I've used a bunch, which sells your wood. This guy I've used quite a bit, which is a mobile bell sell point. You can just like throw it in the back of your UTV and just drive past a bell and it'll sell it. And then this guy, the mobile wood warehouse. It's actually a production chain. It'll move 200,000 liters. And if you're on PC and you've got a mod which will upgrade your productions, well, you can do that. But this is a crossplay video. So there you go. I definitely highly recommend this pack, especially for the bell selling, because a lot of people don't store the bells, they just sell them. And then the wood, if you want to cut some trees down but don't want to deliver them, well, you don't have to. Just use that. It's such a cool pack. I love it. Can't talk about game-changing mods and some of my favorite ones without mentioning the Ultimate Mowing and Baling pack. This one's from MacTrucker921. A couple pieces that you've already seen. Basically, they took some base game equipment and made it to where you can start attaching stuff. So down here with rear hitch, we have a low ball hitch, we've got a pin hitch, rear 3-point, high, and then it's just epic. Plus you get the rear PTO. This allows you to mow, bale, wrap, yes, even wrap with this guy with the rear hitch, which is offset just enough, TED, windrow, whatever you want, and collect all in line. It's even got a rear hitch on there. You don't need one on this, but you can have it if you want it. And you could run multiple of these. It's just the most ridiculous and like super cool mod pack ever. One of the things that attracted me to this pack was back at Farming Simulator 17, when I was playing on the Xbox, there were a lot of stuff that was super unrealistic on PC and you just couldn't get it. Well, this added it to all platforms for FS22. They even have liftable ones. That's so cool. As you know, one of my favorite things to do is to customize and have things look however I want. I also like unrealistic. And Hardy Sprayer Pack fits that bill perfectly. This takes all of the Hardy equipment that is in the base game as well as the Lizard trailers and cranks it up to 11. As you can see here with the Navigator 4000, you can change up all kinds of stuff. We even have a capacity option with Unreal up to 15,000, which is more than enough for a sprayer, even for me, even though I would put mine at 100,000. You've got decals, yes or no on there, all kinds of stuff, and that's for all of them, man. Even the self-propelled one, you could do that too. You could debrand it, jump that capacity up to 35,000, paint it toothpaste tractor green. I mean, I'm partial. Let's just be honest there and be good to go. You also have 750 and 500,000 liter capacities for the smaller trailers too, making these absolutely epic. I love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, toothpaste tractor, come on. Additionally, with packs, you kind of have to talk about the Kinsey Multi-Fruit Planter Pack, at least for me. Again, remember, this is my video. This was just awesome. I was able to use these for the first time. I think it was on, Griffin, Indiana, that series, but I've used them a ton off screen just to get stuff done quickly or maybe match things up. These have received an update since I've used them last, which is phenomenal, but want to show you just some of the cool stuff that I loved about this. First off, you had versions that would or would not do potatoes, poplars, and sugarcane, or you could go with a version that didn't do those, although you didn't have to do that. There's also a version with roller or mulcher and roller. I also know that these will be getting an update, or maybe they've gotten a second update when this video comes out, which removes the rolling version because the worker doesn't work with the roller. So there was that. They were direct drill, they had fertilizer inside, they held up to 100,000 liters of seed and fertilizer. I mean, it was just insane. So the fact that these even existed was awesome. Not to mention the fact that you could change up the branding to Lizard, Case, Kloss, Fendt, John Deere, Kubota, Massey Ferguson, New Holland, or none. You could debrand it. This was super neat and not something that we had seen before. Also, these had, hang on, I'll just show you. Ah, crap, I changed the hub color. Where's frame? There it is. Bam! Toothpaste tractor, Case IH branded. Get at me, bro. Love it. Here's one that just recently came onto the scene, the variable pickup with. You may be seeing a pattern here with people modifying base game equipment. So this is a mod that will take all your base game stuff, or at least the selected base game stuff. All of your stuff's kind of the same. Working speed may be up 1 mile an hour from each. You do have a lot of customization through here, so you could change up the way things look. But they also have different pickups and working widths. The working widths include default, bonus, extended, and virtual. Meaning that you could pick this stuff up all the way from the selected 1.5 to 2 meter pickup width, all the way up to about what I could figure is around 18 to 20 meters. Now it is virtual, you can't see it, but it's pretty darn cool. There's also capacity options for the loading wagons. 161,000. Redonkulous! It says redonkulous! Jumping over to vehicles, and I didn't want to include a bunch here because, well, I could go on and on. There's so many that I love, but there's a few that I use just constantly, especially when I play off screen on the Xbox. The first one is the 1982 Special from 82 Studio. This is super duper neat. It's got quite a few different beds on it. This was one of the first vehicles where we could have police and firefighter, so that was awesome. It also works with the TLX 3500 beds, so if you have that installed, you've got even more options. We had a special version, the XL, which was a 4-door with the extended, and then we had one with a patina, which just looked like a barn find, and a lot of people used them as barn finds with plenty of beds to choose from. But as we mentioned, there are more beds to choose from, although when you click combinations, they don't show up. Not sure why. But regardless, there you go. Absolutely love it. Oh yeah, and there's also auto load if you go with a bed configuration, which was just wild and crazy. I love the 2-door version and I would make it auto load, and I'd just take everything everywhere. Oh, so much fun. Next is the Case IH Magnum 340-400 Series Special Edition FL for front loader. This was from Mac Trucker 921, and they absolutely knocked it out of the park, with the exception of the name, which is just ridiculous. We had all kinds of stuff here that you could add on. We had tanks, which were added later on, 886 horsepower engine, all kinds of wheels and attachers for the front. Of course, that front loader. We had all kinds of colors, including toothpaste tractor. Wasn't called toothpaste, it's called green too, but we knew what it was. And then, of course, that front loader and a 7,500 kg weight, which you could put on the front or the back to really crank that mild up to wild. It was a super awesome tractor. Offered a lot of people a solution earlier on in Farming Simulator 22's lifespan to have a bit of an unrealistic tractor to have some fun with. And you know what? I had a lot of fun with it too. We can't talk about favorite vehicles without mentioning the Lizard Colossus Harvesters pack. An absolute behemoth of a pack, which offered, again, a lot of players on console a way to do things in a fun way, maybe the way that a lot of PC players would, but they gave them a way to do it on the console and just have a great time. Like, for example, this guy right here, it's a 16-meter worker width, and you could put on crop guides to see exactly where those were. How cool is that? That's awesome. It's just a little disc. They've got unrealistic and realistic enough versions of each, with a couple added new features and different colors too, which is great. We even had, for the first time, I think, chrome toothpaste. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But more so than that, it offered us this, the Colossus Harvester. We could go up to 1.25 million liters in capacity. We had a 3,000 horsepower race engine, wheel options, which included all kinds of interesting things, including my favorite, if we can go find them. Where's my triples? There we go. Skinny triples in the front and duals in the back. It also offered a lot of really interesting, we'll just say special things, like the beacons, which were toothpaste tractor, and the lenses, which were toothpaste tractor. Take the brands off of there. And the frame, which could be toothpaste tractor. This is one of the first things that you could literally just toothpaste tractor it out. And I was so happy about that. I'm sitting here losing my breath because it was awesome. All of these colors could be changed. It's just basically a green blob at that point with green beacons on it. It was so much fun. And we had crazy headers to go along with that for everything. Max working speed on this, 55 miles an hour. I would have to say, all things considered with Farming Simulator 22, if you like playing unrealistic, this may be the one pack that you had to have. And boy, was it worth it. It was amazing. And the last of the vehicles, I think, has to be the Swather pack. This was for BC Bueller Farms. It was to be used on Edgewater, Saskatchewan, which was the first map to be prepared for it. However, there were quite a few maps that were prepared for it afterwards. And if you played on PC, there was a mod that came out in collaboration with Yosmonic, which allowed you to use it on any map that you wanted. This is available in multiple different bits. I think for like every series I've ended up buying this. I use it as my mower. I use it for swathing. I use it as a mower more so than for swathing. And I also find it interesting that this feature that this mod brought to us is now a base game feature in Farming Simulator 25, including branding, which could be MacDon, and yet it is not. That I find super cool. It's not that I think they took the idea or whatever. Swathing's big. This just happened to be a mod for it. The thing that I would say is swathing add-on here for Farming Simulator 22 being a base game feature in the next game, I think you had to just, you nailed it. If you make a mod that is a base game feature in the next game, you won, man. Game over. You win. There are a couple headers I want to talk about as well. These are going to be grain headers I'm going to talk about because, let's be honest, I didn't really do enough corn or sunflower harvesting to be a good word on that voice. The honeybees. When these came out, they broke Farming Simulator. Everybody loved them. It was awesome. It included an 18.3 meter and a 15.2 meter working with, along with all the other ones like 13.7 and et cetera, all the way down. These were epic, man. Absolutely epic. And the fact that we had a header trailer which connected to the bottom, which was 2 parts, and you had to do it all. I mean, there were YouTubers making videos on just how to use this. Granted, it was because it was confusing, not because it was game-changing. But we had all kinds of stuff that you could throw on here. It just made everything awesome. And they were from Custom Modding. Custom does a good job. The other header pack is the Legacy Premium Cutter Pack from Misc Modding, who also does a really good job. They included header trailers for everything, and we even got very similar style headers. Now, the things that made these unique is, well, of course, we had that Legacy branding on there, which Midwest are the people that make this. But we could also change it. We had Case on there, Kloss, Fendt, John Deere, Massey Ferguson, New Holland. It was nice to be able to just swap those out. And we also had the connectors for each one of those, so everything would line up perfectly. They just did a killer job with this. And no matter which one you got, which I think they are all available in almost exactly the same sizes, if not the exact same sizes. We also had a 16.8, which was, you know, it's kind of a nice happy middle ground between 15 and 18. It was just really cool to have these. Really cool. Plus, you could include its very own header trailer in this if you wanted to. It's awesome. Next, I want to talk about forge trailers. And the first one in here has to be on Montana's Lizard TARDIS XL. This included quite a few things, including combine harvester with headers and all kinds of stuff. We had trailers in here too, multiple versions of those. It was kind of nice because she took some of the smaller trailers, even though, well, this trailer is not really tiny by any stretch of the imagination. This one is, and she even had the S and the L. Now, the L is for the large capacity, 125,000 liters on here. That's pretty darn cool, and you could change up to a lot of different colors, which was also nice. So players loved that. But one of the cool things was the combine harvester. The Colossus Harvesters pack brought in a big combine to do big jobs. This is a little combine to do big jobs. 250,000 liter capacity on there, and we even had headers, which would go a little bit faster, 12 miles an hour on this header. Now, you could use other headers if you wanted to, but these are the ones that were made for it. And you could match the colors up and be good to go. And Montana added a really cool custom blue on there, too, that you could use. This was awesome. Absolutely loved it. I wish it would have come out earlier, but I mean, it's been out for close to a year now. Here's another one that was just absolutely epic. The Stone Picker Forge Pickup Trailer Pack Pickup. So much going on. So if you go through here, you can see there are different ones. We have Stone Picker Trailer, Stone Picker Trailer, Stone Picker Trailer. These are going to be different speeds, 8, 15, and 31. Then we have the same thing for Forge, which were the really popular ones. These allowed you to set everything up with a unrealistic capacity of 500,000 liters. Kind of, it is what it is, isn't it? And then you could throw on a bunch of different wheel options. There was a rear hitch on here with a pin or a ball hitch. You could throw a cover on there. So many different colors for chassis, including, you got it, well, it was metallic green too is what it was. Gotta love green too, baby. You could throw these on there. Had a 16 meter working with 31 miles an hour, 500 liter capacity. I mean, it was just, and maybe still is, one of the most OP forge trailers that we have in Farming Simulator 22. It's been out for well over a year at the point of making this video. You could do it with stone, which I don't think anybody's getting 500,000 liters of stones out of a field. However, it is very realistic to get even more than 500,000 liters of forage, whether that be grass, hay, straw, whatever. This is the perfect trailer for that. Back in Farming Simulator 17, I did a top 10 video, and this mod right here, I believe, was like number 2 or number 3 on my list, the Lizard Subsoiler. Now, with Farming Simulator 19 and 22, things have changed a little bit, and now we have the Subsoiler 6MT, 9MT. Ba-bam, ba-bam, bam, ba-bam, bam, bam. Love it. Boy, oh boy. 320 horsepower, 9 meters, 10 miles an hour. You could go with a 6 meter with 260 horsepower. Change it whatever color you want. It didn't matter. Even add design color on the bottom. It's the most popular plow in Farming Simulator. Everybody's using it. I love it. That may be an over-exaggeration of everybody using it, but I use it constantly because It just fits everything I want to do for me and my gameplay series. You can put it on the front, you can put it on the back, you can flip it around, you can put something behind it, put something in front of it. It always works. And I love it. However, if you wanted to take that mild and turn it up to wild, you would go for Agritono's Lizard SM7282. 26-meter plow on here. It actually requires about the same amount of horsepower as that 9-meter plow did. It even had a detacher on the back. Granted, it was not a 3-point like the other one had. This is just a regular trailer hitch. Yeah, I don't think you're running 3 points very much when you get this big in equipment. Again, same thing here. You could change up the colors for the main and the rim color. The tines are always going to be black on there, and the logos are always going to be white. So keep that in mind. This was just, it's a really big plow. That's about it. When we talk about balers, the one baler that comes to my mind is the Quick Bale from Mark Thor. These things were insane. He was able to take the Quick Bale that was part of the base game with the Kverneland Viking pack for Farming Simulator 19, which came as a base game, I think, or DLC item, downloadable item in Farm Sim 22, and he just said, no you, and through all these different brands on the side of it. It had a working visual width, so it's like a 7 or 6 meter working width, something like that. It's really nice. You've got rear hitches for left, right, or even both if you wanted to. Silage additive tank. You can change up all the colors for the foil and the main color, the rim color. So if you were like me and you went with a Krone, well, you could make it look Krone or John Deere or Case or whatever you wanted to do there. You could do it. There was also the Quick Bale version, which ran at 27 miles an hour constantly. You could also go with the Quick Bale, which wrapped a little bit faster and would go up to 15 miles an hour. So you could get things done a little bit faster if you were doing grass work. You didn't have to windrow. There was so much stuff that just made it easy. It made everything nice. And I love this so much. Also, I do appreciate that was part of the early showcase of this, so I could show it off before it came out. Love it. Oh yeah, and you could do 180 centimeter bales with this, and 150. Oh, they're so cool. When talking about balers, I have to talk about probably what is my most used. I don't know if it's my most favorite, but it is my most used baler, and it's extremely forgiving. The Big Pack 12080 from the ARM team. There's also a John Deere version of this, but I'm specifically talking about the Krone version because I've used this version a lot. You can do colored wheels. The Farming Simulator 22 brought in single axles. At least I think it was 22, so it's the 19 and 17 as well. This is the the baler that I use the most in Farming Simulator 17 because it was cheap. It's like $100 grand less than any other square baler, and it does all the bales. And you can see this goes up to 240, 180, 220, and 240 square bales. It was perfect. Plus, I said it was forgiving because it is. The working width on here is probably no more than about 2 meters. However, it's about 3 to 3.5 in the code. So it allows you to pick up stuff that's just outside of it. So if you got a big combine with a big header and you got a big swath at the very end of your row, there's a good chance that this would pick it up. And I loved it so much. I love you, baler. I wish I had one of these. I don't need it, but I want it. You also can't talk about balers without talking about Hispano Modding, who added these big old honking things on here. Up to 20 meters. Now, he's done this with round balers. He's done this with New Holland and Krone and Kloss and Case as well. I just happened to find the Agco versions first on here with the Fendt and Massey Ferguson. I just pissed off a lot of people accidentally calling Fendt John Deere, huh? Write me. You can send me an email with your frustrations. The cool things is here, you could still change up everything about the windrow at the front. So if you don't want it to say Massey Ferguson, it doesn't have to. If you want to really make somebody mad, you could put on here that it's, I was about to say Fendt, John Deere. There you go. That'll make people mad. You could even change the color of the baler if you wanted to. You could do all kinds of stuff with this. I think this is super cool. Yes, you could buy the windrow as a separate piece, but it's not on my top mods because I really didn't use it too much. But these, I use these quite a bit. Well, the balers with windrows on them. And speaking of Hispano Modding, I cannot say enough good things about this pack right here. This is the Lizard Platform trailers. They are auto load trailers. As you can see here, we can run up to 42 bales, whether they be round or square. Tons of customization. And the nice thing was we could choose different hitches which was also very cool. And you could change up the color. So if you wanted to do, I don't know, a case with different setups and rims with light gray, there you go. Other than that at the back. There you go. Now it's case, more or less. This was actually one of their first mods that came out for Farm Sim 22. And, I don't know. I always came back to these. They were kind of the first bale trailers that I fell in love with in 22, and I just never left them. Now let's talk about some miscellaneous items, and I have to show off 82 Studios Global Goods Transport Pallet. This is super cool. So you have a 200,000 liter capacity on here. You've got different things for liquid pallet bag. You also have a transport bag without the pallet if you wanted to just grab it, move it. By the way, all of these were liftable. I preferred the pallets because it would, well, sit better. So there you go. This is what I used right here. You can change the color up as well. Let's see. Do we got nitro blue? We do. So you can throw nitro blue on there and you'd be good to go. We had auto load on one side, discharge on the other. You could use this for loading up anything. Look at the bottom of the screen. Anything. Should start scrolling in a second. Start scrolling! There we go. So it would do all of your base game regular crops. And then it would do your washed crops. And then it would do all of the extra stuff from DLCs. And it would auto load any of your productions from your factories. All of the things, literally all of the things, it would load. That's why I use this. I put it outside of a production chain and then come back a couple days later, boom, it's full. And I just go drop it in a sell point and it would sell it all. And I didn't have to transport a million pallets. I just had to transport this one. If you do a lot of animal husbandry, you probably already know what this is. The Herdsman's Stick from Mr. Hector. This, I don't even know where to go with this, other than the fact that you could buy up to 200 head of animal and move them around. And then you just pick it up. You could buy a bunch of these if you wanted. This is an animal transport trailer. So think of like the Flegel animal trailer. That's what this is, but it will move 200 animals. It's supposed to be like you're herding them around, but really it's just a super unrealistic and amazing way to move 200 animals at a time. That's why you need this. Do it. Just go get it. Also, I love the fact that they took the time to make the branding none. Lastly, for miscellaneous category, we have the IBC and Pallets Stack Pack from ADA Modding and the ABP team. This would allow us to take, for example, the Pioneer Seeds, and we could buy up to 16 of them at a time. Not only that, we could pretty much do that with everything. Quite literally. All of your bales, all the pallets, all the productions. There you go. Even like potatoes right here. If you needed some potatoes, you could buy some potatoes and little things. And you're good to go. Just spin it through. All the liquids. If you needed digestate for whatever reason, you could buy 32,000 liters of it in pallets for about 51 grand. Seems excessive. Not only that, but it also had balers on here. So it's got balers for all kinds of stuff, where it would support the mod, where it would do their own thing. You've got speedy versions here as well, which people, I don't know if people even knew about that. You have a John Deere harvester here, which will do poplars. So it'll kick out poplar bales. I mean, it's awesome. And then you've got a liftable version here with cotton. So you have full liftability of everything. There's so much to this pack. Oh yeah, and you could just buy those bales if you didn't feel like it. There's so much that the IBC and Pallet Stack mod does that I'm not even familiar with more than half of this pack. But I am familiar with the other half. Mainly buying all the pallets of bales. There is that. AW, you knocked it out of the park with this one. Bring it back to 25. Next, let's talk about Placeables. And again, from 82 Studio, we have the Multi-Fruit Buying Station. This was also one of the very first mods that came out for Farming Simulator 22, and was also a version of this that we used very, very early on when testing Farming Simulator 22 before its release, which was awesome. This is just insane. So it's got fill types for all of the stuff that you would expect. So all base game crops and grains. You've got all base game liquids and all base game productions. Yes, you can buy clothes from this if you wanted to. It also supports all kinds of different factories. You've got mineral feed on here as well. All the premium expansion crops, you've got this. However, you do need that DLC activated for it to work. Anything that's DLC, you have to have it activated to work. But it will work, so you can just pull under one of his auto-load vehicles and boom, pop it in and then unload, and there they are. I don't know how it works. This is magic. How do you do what you do? Tell us your secrets! What's the opposite of buying everything? Selling everything. I love this. It's from Schultz Modding. There are 2 models of this that are in. However, I don't actually use this one ever. I use this one. It's just small grading, and you can sell literally everything. This is absolutely epic. Also, you can throw this under a production point, and it would just sell everything automatically. So you don't have to pay it to sell it. It will boop, drop, and then just sell. It's awesome. It will do all production mods, all the DLCs, and it's also got a price scale for Platinum expansion containers, which is great news. I think they were either selling too high or too low. I can't remember. It was one or the other, but that's also been fixed. It's super cool. Plus, we can go in here and rename it if we want. So let's say you're on, I don't know, this map right here. We're on Elm Creek. You could put one back here and just call it store sales or something. Or what's the name of this? McCormick? CM? Clever Motors. You could call it Clever Motors grain sale. And it would just be there. And it would look like it's supposed to be. It's also got the trigger for logs, so if you've got any wood, you could sell that there. I can't say good enough things about this. Every single Let's Play that I do, I've got at least one of these down. Another mod that I've got down on every single Let's Play is the Farm Dairy. To be fair, I've used it so much, I'm pretty sure it's just called Farm Dairy Cheaty, because that's what I use. You can see up here we have Farm Dairy Cheaty. What these will do is they'll take, do your normal stuff, but they also do raw milk. So it changes it into milk, but it sells the milk directly, but it's raw milk. It actually gives you a little bit better pricing, which is great, but I don't think it actually tells you the price anywhere, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there are no selling points available because it's a fictional crop that it does. All I know is that it works. They are absolutely awesome, and I'm not sure exactly what the difference is between the Cheaties. Oh, there are way less cycles per month, and it holds a lot more. 10 times more. More than 10 times in some things. So, yeah, I just always use this. It works, it's phenomenal, and also if you put it a little too close to some cow pens, you'll get a free 100,000 liters of milk. I don't know how it happens, but I'm not going to complain about it. The next one, I love this mod so much that I made my own modded version, and I don't even have the original installed. I'm so sorry, Schultz. This is the underground storage. So similar to the selling point, this is a great place to store things. You can also do bales, which is great. So you can just come over this, drop some bales, and you're good to go. It's also got underground storage for liquids, but I do not have that installed because this is still the first version. I'm so sorry. This says it'll hold 1 million liters. I have mine set up to 500 million liters. Turns out you don't need that much. And I didn't know that 2 years ago when I made this. So there's that. Yeah. So that's kind of it. It's just, I don't know. It's a very cool silo. I'm an idiot. Next in this section, we've got the automatic shipping of animal products. This was another mod that dropped very early on in Farming Simulator 22's life cycle. However, I think this was one that not a lot of people kind of understood, realized, or maybe they just wanted to try doing some of the other pallet loading options first, because pallets were brand new as far as animals and things like, well, not animals, but the pallet system was much different. This allowed us to have some different options. So we had shipping of eggs, honey, and wool. Milk was added later on, however, you still had to load the milk. So basically what you did was, let's say you had chickens, right? And we had this as our chickens. Well, we would take then the automatic shipping of animal products for chickens, and we would place it, I don't know, in here somewhere. I don't actually know where the pallets spawn first, but if there's something in the way, they won't spawn. So let's say they spawn here. Bam! Now, when the pallet drops, it goes into this production chain, which will hold up to 5,000 liters, and you could set it to spawning, selling, or distributing. Spawning does nothing. Selling will sell it, and distributing will send it off to wherever eggs need to be, mainly the bakery. That's how cool this mod is. And, of course, does the same thing with milk, but I prefer the farm dairy cheating. The next mod is so OP, it's not even funny, and there's a lot of players that refuse to use this just because of how insane it is. So, this is the automatic water for animals and greenhouses. What this does is just absolutely insane. So, it adds 1 billion liters of water. Not million, oh no. 1 billion liters of water. It's pretty much so that it'll never run out. And as long as there's a thing that needs water close to it, like this cow pasture, which requires water, or this greenhouse, which requires water, you never have to bring them water ever again. Ever. ever. We can take a look here. It's supposed to be 20,000 liters of water, but now it has 1,020,000 liters of water. You'll never run out of water there. Over here in the animal pen, if we click it, well, there's nothing there. But you can see down at the bottom it's supposed to hold 6,000 liters of water, and it has 1,006,000 liters of water. Meaning that you could use one of these for multiple different areas and be just fine. Again, it's so overpowered, it's not even funny. But I'm laughing. That's so good. Lastly, in the Placeables category, I want to talk about addable triggers. These are from Farmer5Tom and are ingenious. What this does is they've added production chains and silos and things like that to nothing. There's no building behind this. There's nada. So we utilized over here the clever motors before. So let's say we want to come in here. We go to our productions and we say, you know what? I want this to be a cereal factory because I don't want to drive all the way to the other side of the area for cereal factory. So you say, all right, cool. And you click it and you put one down. Now, this building technically is a cereal factory. Of course, it's just between these placeables right here. If we go in, it's kind of nice actually. You can see the different inputs and things like that. I think it's kind of neat. And there's our cereal factory right there, which goes over there. You can also utilize these with the shipping of animal products mod that we just talked about. You can utilize those with these if you've got something that's dropping out and sending to it. Boom, you're good to go. Bob's your uncle. It's all good, man. It's all good. It's pretty sweet. I dig it, but there's a lot more than just that. For example, here you can see we've got something that doesn't look like that, but these are the hayloft, and then we have a bale and pallet storage, which part of it, and a grain silo, which holds 1.6 million liters, and a multi-fruit silo, which holds 10 million liters. Tons of production points for bakery, carpentry. You've also got dairy, grain mill, oil mill, grape processing, spinnery, sugar mill, and the tailor shop. There's even selling stations, so if you wanted to, you could grab some of these and add them as selling stations. And there's even a $5 million liquid storage in here as well. This mod pack is so cool, and I love it. And I got a couple script mods for you guys on all platforms as well. Script mods are quite rare when it comes to Farming Simulator 22 Crossplay, but there's still a few that just change the game forever. And I've got 3 of them I want to talk about. First is Harvest Profit, and it's a version 1, so you know it was good when it released back in the 6th month of 2022. God, that was such a long time ago. With this mod, you receive a higher price for your crops. If you're used to playing with productions, you may have noticed that the price balance between products and crops is not always well adjusted. If you enjoy harvesting and dedicating your time and taking care of your fields, but you think that you're missing out on the benefits of productions, this mod will help you balance things out a little more. You will receive more for your crops of the basic grains in any difficulty mode, and the rest of manufactured products will remain the same. You decide whether to cultivate, fertilize, sow, apply herbicide. Refertilizing, harvesting, and transporting your crops is worth it as much or more than the resulting products of its processing. Using wheat just to make flour will no longer be as beneficial, but it is still necessary to make bread. That is. I don't know what those words are in that order. Dedicate part of your harvest to generate elaborate products and part to sell them and get a fair price. Diversify. You'll get a better profit and satisfaction. So there you go. Basically, this increases the base game crops prices. It's awesome. Next is fixed crop prices. When used together with the previous mod, you're just unstoppable and you make so much money. So they say, tired for seasonally varying crop prices? Well, worry no more. With fixed crop prices, you'll get the best price for all base game crops, production outputs, and animal products all year long. What this does is there's no more fluctuations for anything. Everything's just the best price all year, every day. How could you not want that? And lastly, there have been a lot of liftable mods from Mr. Yoast Modding, but my favorite is the liftable fill types mod. The base weight and massive mini crops, products, and even animals in the base game have been altered. Most pallets and big bags will be liftable by hand. Autoload and animal trailers should be lighter as well, even on console. If something is still not liftable, the original object is just too heavy for DLC pallets. You can see their other liftable pallet mods over here. There you go. You can check those out. You can see I don't actually have those installed. Sorry, yes, I don't need them. I'm on PC. These are great for console. You got to get those if you're on console. They do say do not use this mod together with precision farming, as it will use up your material a lot faster. And basically, base game big bags and base game productions are all lightweight or will be liftable. Mod map crops to be lightweight or alfalfa, linseed, field bean, flax, peas, and lentils. And then, of course, you have all of this stuff right here, and then a few things which are not liftable. One of the other things for this as well is, I don't know if you quite realize this or not, but it changes the weight of everything. Basically makes it update mass equals false. The thing that you have to add whenever you've got a mod and farming set with like on PC that holds like 1,000,000 liters. Well, there's a line of code that you have to add to update mass equals false. Otherwise, it weighs 1,000,000 times what it should. So here you can see the empty trailer weighs 27,000 kg. Filled up with stones, still weighs the exact same 27,000 kg, whereas this would probably weigh a lot more without this mod. So this super nice. You don't need a whole lot of extra power as well. Also, I think seeds in seeders and fertilizer spreaders, stuff like that, they're not going to be too heavy. You just need something like this. This is such a game-changing mod, it's not even funny. And that is it. Those are all of my favorite crossplay mods for Farming Simulator 22. If yours didn't make the list, please let me know what it was down below. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like on it, get subscribed if you do enjoy the GoHam fam. Double check that notification bell as well. That way, when I start releasing videos for Farm Sim 25, you know about it. Hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.